This is something you really, when you're choosing your length of webbing for the 2-point fixed and focused anchor, you really got to take the length of the roping, webbing into consideration because of the distance you're going to travel.
Can you use rope for these or no?
For
an anchoring point?
I don't know. I think you could. It's just a different. I don't know. I'll find out. So I'm going to use this yellow piece. I won't get too far into it, but there's something that comes into play here called critical angles. Basically, it's the angle. I'm going to make a big triangle here. The angle that you make here is called a critical angle. You don't want to exceed 120 degrees. When you do that, you're putting a lot of force on the knot that I'm going to show you how to tie. So if I tried to tie this with a very short piece like that red piece, I would have a very wide angle when I'm done. And what it's doing is putting more, it's multiplying the force on that knot it's going to break. All right, so what I'm going to do, I have my 2 points. I'm going to come through like this, and I'm going to make a big loop. All right, we're going to do the same exact thing we just did with that knot. So you make a overhand knot, keep it loose. Again, I'm keeping everything flat. All right, I'm going to trace it back through. All right, next thing, grab the middle of your 2 points and pull it towards you. All right. Just keep in mind you want to keep this knot. You don't want it back here. You don't want it anywhere up here because I'm going to use this area to tie the knot. All right. Next thing, so that's the 2 point. Remember, it's called a 2-point fixed and focused. So next thing we're going to do is fix it and focus it. The focusing part means I can move this anywhere. And what I'm doing is focusing it towards where my load is going to be pulled on. So it's not always going to be right in the center. It can be off to the sides, offset. I could do this with, I can make 2 of these and focus one over here and one over here and just have them cross. So it doesn't always have to be right in the center. Alright, so I aim it at what I'm going to be pulling on. Come back like this. You gotta be careful.
It's right behind you.
Oh. Alright, come back
You
here.
want another one for a crush carabiner?
That's what I was going to use it for.
Okay.
Alright, now I'm just going to tie an overhand knot with all this webbing. Just like that. It's all it is an overhand knot. Now you heard Tugboat say crush carabiner. What that is we put it in the knot, just like this, anywhere in the knot, so that when we load this, we're able to untie it at the end. This prevents the knot from cinching all the way down and being impossible to untie. All right, so it's called a crush beaner. All right, so now I have a 2 point. It's fixed and it's focused in the direction of where I'm going to be pulling on, and it's a bomb-proof anchor. So remember I was talking about that angle? This is that critical angle. You don't want to exceed 120 degrees.
How many degrees is that?
That's about 87. All right.
That's you're pretty close.
A little easier to tie than the last one. You're still using that same knot, but you're not doing all the pulling and that kind of stuff. All right. Sure.
So just something to consider when we don't have a bomb-proof anchor is if we have a 500-pound patient and we're going to have 2 of us tied into the system, right, and we're at like 1,000 pounds, we don't want to pick 2 small trees or something like that, because we're going to exceed the limits of those anchors and they're going to ultimately fail. So when you're picking anchors, try to find something that's large enough to support whatever load that you're going to be putting on it. Otherwise, the system's going to fail. And then
You're gonna be down the hill with a tree.
And it doesn't have to be just 2. You can do 3, 4, 5. You just need a long enough piece of webbing to do it. And all you're doing is in between each one, you're pulling it forward like that. Basically, you're going to have a bunch of these.